Hi, this is 36581 and this is another 30 in 30. This will be the third one for April. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is the third and I'm assuming final 10 that I'm going to read physically of my collection. And would you, Adam and Eve, these two things have arrived, which means I still haven't opened these ones. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to open, and this one is also one that just arrived with that pile as well. So I was planning on just reading this and then being like, hey, this is what I thought of this. But it is the next day. I've edited the video and I've uploaded it onto my Patreon for $1 a month. You can have access to early access. A shout out at the name with your name at the end of the video and support me, thanks. Plug, shameless plug. But yeah, I did order some things from Book Depository. Oh my god, it's so bad now. Anyway, and I wasn't expecting these. They're a little bit earlier than I was expecting. But they're here and they've just arrived and I was so ready to just read what I just opened, but I don't know, the allure, and also I kind of know what this is. So we're just going to open this. We're just going to probably read it straight away. It's very hot and sunny. I don't know if you can see through it. It's so hot and sunny. And I also have a cat on the other window staring at me. It is not my cat. Anyway, we're going to open this first. Let's get this open. So here we go. This is the first one. This one, yeah. One of them kind of came with it not being fully stuck down. So I think my postman got a really good eyeful of what I was getting. And I'm not ashamed in the slightest. Because it is. I love Mix Up. Volume 7. I can't believe this is volume 7. And of course I just read volume 5 and 6, so I am primed and ready to just go straight in. Oh, I'm so excited! So this is gonna be good. This is good. It's gonna be good. I'm getting really quite sad now because this is volume 7. Once I read this, 8 and 9, and that's it. And that's it. And it's so lovely. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'll have to do a haul at the end of this month. Wasn't planning on it. This was to be the no buy month, but oh, I'm so excited. So this is definitely gonna be the first thing I read. This is gonna be the first thing I read because it's gonna be a quick read. It always is. It's really, really great. I'm super excited. Let's see what the other package that arrived today is. I mean, I could open the other packages, but I'm not going to. Not right now, because I know I'm going to read this, and I know I'm going to read what's in the other package. So let's have a look at this package too. I know what this is, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I can't sing, okay. There we go. Oh, 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 oh. Ja-ja! I hear the suns, but 4 seasons. Yuki Fumino, One Piece. Oh! So, I do have to say, oh, shameless plug, it's so beautiful. There was a special edition version of this that was getting sold in Kinokuniya. So if you haven't already and you're in the US, you can go and check it out. Unfortunately, they do not ship internationally, which means there is absolutely no way for me or other fans to be able to get it. So, unfortunately, but isn't that great? Oh! The other thing I need to say is, will it focus? That I did a buddy read for the last volume, which was the very first buddy read that I did with Katie, and we read the full series. And the last volume, which is the 5th volume, so this is the 6th volume, I literally cried every 10 pages. And that's not a joke, because I filmed it. You all saw. I don't think I've ever had I mean, I didn't do very many vlog videos anyway, but that was the first vlog video where I literally got like so many views compared to the normal videos. So that was like a really popular video. And I think I put it down to the fact that I cried every 10 pages. So it would be like cry, 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 cry. And the tears were fat. They were fat. And it was very, very embarrassing, but at the same time, like 100%, that's who I am. I will cry with this one. I just know it. I just know it. So I kind of feel like I need to have a quick squizzle at the previous volume. I say that and then I end up reading the whole volume. Just to remind me of what was going on with it. So I don't know. I don't think I can reread the whole series. But just like with volume 6, I could read volume 5 and 6 and then I can go straight into volume 7. With this one, I think I will need to have a little read of maybe the last few chapters of the 5th volume of I Hear the Sunspot. So yeah, these are the 2 things I'm going to read first. Then I will probably read this. I'm going to leave those 3 to the side for the moment and pretend they don't exist. But yeah, this is my reading plans for the next couple of days. Yeah, I'm gonna read this and this and this. There we go. That's what I'm gonna do. And doesn't that look great? Doesn't that look great? Honestly, this is a really nice haul. So excited. I'm so excited. New things. And they're so new because technically these aren't supposed to be released yet. I don't think in the UK. So Book Depository are like, here, just have it. We need it out of our warehouses because our warehouses are not going to be around for longer. So yeah, they've shipped these out quite quickly. I am once again thinking I might just pop along onto the Book Depository site and have a look. But I'm saying no because I did buy some things and yeah, there's more things to come. I have well and truly broke the seal in April. It was bad. It's bad. This year is not going to go as well as previous years. I'll put a link to my video of how much did I spend in the corner, and you can see that I did really well last year. This year, not so great. Evident from the fact that I'm having haul videos every month, whereas before I was like, no, every 3 months and no sooner. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Anyway, I've got a wee cat outside and I'm going to give the wee cat some ham. So I have just finished My Love Mix-Up Volume 7, art by Aruko and story by Wataru Hinekure. This is just lovely. This is just, it was just lovely. I pretty much just devoured it. It's so good. I love the fact that Ida is sulking because a lot of the time he doesn't, and then they end up going to Kyoto. This is a bit spoilery, but it's not really that spoilery. And I do enjoy when there's bits in the story, any stories, but because it's a particular destination, it's the kind of place that junior high school and high school students will go, whether it's a graduation trip or if it's a school trip or if it's something like this, an open campus trip, that kind of thing. But if anyone goes on a trip to Kyoto, I always find it really lovely because I used to live there. So for me, this kind of view, this kind of image, it's like, oh, I know where that is. I've been there. I have not had my food stolen by the giant birds. These birds are huge. They're like massive big birds. And I've been quite fortunate as to not have to deal with it. But also the whole hotel with the newer section and the old section. I used to teach, and there would be a sort of summer camp where you would teach, and the hotel that we stayed at had a new modern section, and it also had the older tatami room section, and a big conference section and things like that. And they would have an English camp, and I would teach at the English camp in the summer, in Kyoto. But I lived there anyway, so it's just so nice to see things and to make that connection. But this was great. I want to say, I mean, I know it's a shoujo beat title, And also because it is a sort of male romance aspect, I didn't expect it to get a little bit flirty, and it got a little bit flirty. And I gotta say, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I love this. I love this volume. Oh my god, I love this volume. So yeah, and of course the whole Hashimoto and Ida. Ida. They're so Ida. I need to keep reminding myself Ida and Ida, and Aoki. Aoki's the easy one to remember, but their date as well in the summer, and they're just moving along, and it's not very much happened, I have to say, and the little extras at the end. So there's only 2 main stories in this volume, because they are getting closer and closer to the end of their 3rd year. They're in that stage where you know, what's going to happen next. Dun dun dun. I don't know. Will they manage to keep working towards the goal? But I mean, even from the first, the first section, you get this like the artwork is just hilarious. Everything about it, the beats, the comedy beats of the story, is just so amusing and so entertaining. So yeah, this was great. I love My Love Mix-Up. I am kind of getting to that point where I'm like, oh no, there's only 2 more volumes. What are we gonna do? So yeah, I've got something fabulous to read next, so I'm going to. But it is, what's the time? 5:30. So I might read a bit of the previous volume of I Hear the Sunspot, just so I'm up to date before I jump into the new volume. Just because. And then I think I might go to the shops because it's still really sunny, and I kind of want some juice, and also I kind of want some like ice lollies or something. I feel like it's the start now that I'm gonna have to start making ice and having iced coffee and maybe ice chai lattes and things like that. So some delicious things. Start getting some more coconut milk and things, just because that's nice with a chai coconut. Anyway, and I kind of want something to eat that I don't really want to make anything. Anyway, I will go to the shops around 6:30, 7ish to see if there's got any goodies. But we're going to see how much I can read between now and then. And I might make a quick video as well while I'm reading, because there's not really much. I won't finish the video, but I'll start the editing process as well. So that's what I'm doing. Then I go on to I Hear the Sunspot. So great, I'm so excited. So good morning. I have a beautiful breakfast here. Ham and cheese croissant with salad, and then I've got a little passion fruit yogurt with some, what are they, nectarines? Peaches. And I've got some coconut coffee. It's like some kind of coconut coffee, and a wee, like, if I'm still hungry, which I will want, a little dot. They're perfect size. So yeah, last night I did get this out. I did have a wee flick through, and I did start actually just from the beginning. So I am reading this one again. I actually think I might get out the one before it and just have a quick look through it as well, because I was like, what? Because I only read this once. I've only read this once. So the one before it, I know I've read at least twice. Every time there's a new one out, I did a full reread. So this one I haven't done a full reread for. So yeah, I probably need to read this whole one again and a bit of the one before, and then start on this one. So I have started on this last night. But yeah, it's just like heartbreaking. And I'm probably going to be crying a lot. But I have some things to do today. I have my washing on. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, so I need to hang that out. It's a beautiful sunny day. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but still beautiful and sunny. And I have some weed killer to go and buy for my garden, or at least the pathways, because I don't want the weeds on the pathways. So I want to get some weed killer, and I need to get some proper coffee and a few other things as well. So I might go for a bit of a walk and get some things.
so that might be what happens today. And I'd like to do it in the morning, so I'm gonna munch this up. Hopefully my washing will be done, hang that out and go. But yeah, this is my priority for today. Weed killer, and I hear the sunspot. That's it. I think I need to do a bit of tidying and things like that as well. So we'll see what I can get done today. So I have hung out my washing, and I also found some weed killer in my little garden box thing from last year. So I used that, and I bought these yesterday. These are some of the goodies I got. These ones were supposed to be like £6, but they're £3.24. They're very, very nice mix. And then here I got some carnations for 70p and some tulips for 60p. Such bargains. So I'm going to, luckily these ones have some in there because the tulips don't get any feed. So I'm going to put the tulips and probably carnations in one, and then this one in another one. These are just old coffee jars. I do have a tendency to keep glass jars, so I have to go through my cupboards because it's spring cleaning time, and go through which ones I want to keep. I really like these ones because they have the suction glass lid things as well. So I do have a lot of these in my cupboards full of like dried pulses and pasta and oats and things like that, rice, anything that said like a dried good, and then rather than keeping them on their plastics. But I need to go through my cupboards. I need to do a big spring clean. Anyway, I'm gonna get these all cut up and made, hopefully looking nice. So that's me done them. I was just started to do it, and I just thought, there we go. I really like this one because it's got the different colours and textures. It's quite nice. And this one is just carnations and tulips, but I wanted a difference in height, so I've gone for the tulips being slightly lower and the carnations kind of popping through. And a lot of greenery just because it is spring. So I've got two nice bunches. I'll probably put one up in my room and use maybe in the background of some videos or something. Just, it's nice to have flowers. I can buy myself flowers. It is lovely to get flowers, but it's sometimes nice to just be like, you're pretty, I'm taking you home. And yesterday, that's what I did. So very nice. I do like the different seasons to be shown in the flowers, the bouquets that I get. So yeah, it's very spring-like. I'm very happy. This one's quite a romantic one. I do have some lilies in my garden that usually come up, but they're literally just poking through now, so they're not even, they don't even look like lilies. They just look like weeds at the moment. So yeah, I should grow my own, I think, a bit more, seeing as I do enjoy them so much. Anywho, stuff to do. I will check in when I've read a bit more. Okay, so I just had a wee visitor, the postman. He needed to have something signed because I actually got two parcels. This one was the one that needed signed. This one is the expensive one. This is a big deal, but I'm not too sure how I feel about it until I open it. When I open it, then I will know how I feel. So this is a big moment for me. Yeah, it's a big moment. It's another big one. I have no idea what's in this one because, like I said a while ago, I went on a little bit of a late night bing, bing, bing. I bought this stuff probably on eBay. This is definitely an eBay purchase, but it was a purchase a while ago. As you can see, it is from the United States, which I never buy because it costs so much. So let's open this one. Yeah, let's open this. Breathe, breathe. So I am not sure if I can just, yes I can. It looks quite beat up. So I don't know what's the actual state of the thing inside. Oh, it's stuck to the sticky things. Oh, it's really difficult. Oh, it's like actually, oh, they've done it that way. Okay, let's see if I can open it. Ja-ja! Ja-ja-ja-ja-ja-ja! Oh wow, they really did like stick it in. And then it's stuck. There we go. Oh, guys. Oh, it's in actually really good condition. It looks like brand new. Check out that 3! Wow. Okay, so, this is Incubus Volume 3 by Yayoi Neko, and this is a Kitty Media publication, and this is the final Kitty Media that I need to complete my Kitty Media publisher collection. So this is a pretty big deal. So yeah, I now have all of Kitty Media. That is, it was kind of expensive. Oh, but that's in really good condition. That's like brand new. So I will have to give a good little star rating. Thanks for that. The actual book itself was not as expensive. They put it on for $25, and then I liked it or watched it, and then they came back with like a, hey, do you want this offer? And it was $19.99. But the shipping is like almost, was it like a $20 shipping because it's from the US? So I don't know in terms of pounds. I need to check and do that for my haul video. But this is like the big one. This is a big one. And I know this isn't necessarily a huge one for some people. If you're living in the US or Canada, you could probably get this for a lot cheaper. Well, actually, I don't know if you could. Because like I actually paid like a very comparable price to even a cheap copy of this. I know some people have probably got it for a very cheap amount, but for me, this was the only one I needed, and I have been like, I made my list in like September, I think it was 2019 originally, and then I worked my way through all of the out of print stuff, but I managed to get the first and second volumes of Incubus, which were, there wasn't many that I needed from Kitty Media, but I got those two, and I got them fairly quickly. And then I realised that one of my volumes, I think it was my volume 2 or my volume 1, I can't remember, had some damage inside, and so I needed to get a second copy. So I now have a damaged copy to sell or get rid of. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But that was like within a year. So let's say 2020, and it's now 2023. So it's been 3 years. And to be able to complete this publisher, I only needed this one volume. And I swore at the time, oh, well, I'm going to finish Kitty Media first. This is going to be the first publisher of out of print work that I will complete in my collection. And it was not. And I'm very happy. This is a big deal. This is a big deal because it has been like 3 years of me kind of going, I need to get a copy. And they're all over $300 or £300 even. You know, it's like, or there just wasn't any available. So yeah, at the time of purchasing, I was a little bit apprehensive about how much I was spending on it. But actually now that it's here and now that I can see it in absolute perfect condition, I am actually really pleased. I'm really pleased. It's another out of print publisher done, ticked off. Woo! Yeah, I've got them all now. That's a publisher down. Every year I get 2 so far, and so what I'd really love is to get that one title for Doki Doki. I only need one title from Doki Doki, and then I've got a complete collection. So I'm gonna hopefully not have to wait 3 years for that. But wow, I'm so happy. I'm very happy. I have this one. Should we open this one too? Because I do not plan on reading this. I do not plan on reading this anytime soon. I might do a reading OEL vlog, just reading OEL, when I'm feeling particularly strong and up for giving myself some excruciating pain because I don't want to read them, but this is really good. So I have this other one here. I don't know, can I open it without? I might have to get some scissors. Let's see. Oh, I know what this is. This is just one book. Oh, yeah, I can show you this because it's not. I forgot about this. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I can definitely show you this because it's not a manga. It's a book. Let's see how it is. Ooh, yay! It is in lovely condition. That'll be a little. Nope. Oh. Book 2 from Tor. Oh, I should probably not show that. So someone maybe got this. I don't know. But this is A Restless Truth. I have the first book, Marvelous Light, and then this is obviously a 2022 one. I did a review, so I could put a link in the corner for this. Maybe take this out because I don't know who was given this. Not mine. But yeah, I am very, very happy to have book 2 in this series. I'm looking forward to book 3, which will be out, I'm assuming, the same time as previous years. That's Freya Marsk and A Marvelous Light, which I managed to get from eBay as well as a hardback copy for £6, and this was just over £6. So it's a really good, solid, lovely book with the lovely embossing bits. Very nice, and this will go lovely. It's shiny as well, all these wee like flowery bits. So I have read this already. This is just to go into my collection, and I will look forward to book 3 in the series. There's a couple of characters that were... One of the characters was introduced in the first book, and the second character was introduced in this book, and it's kind of like their journey with other people as well. So I'm looking forward to how this mystery... it's sort of magical fantasy historical setting with lots of queer characters. So my kind of jam with the, you know, the mystery as well. So but I really did like the first the book in the series because it was male romance, and this was female romance, and I don't read a lot of that, but I really wanted to read this one. And I had read one sapphic romance early in the year last year that I absolutely hated, so I'm really glad that this one was one that I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first book, but maybe because this was set on a transatlantic cruise ship. So but yeah, that's very good. So this is my mail for the day. You've been just getting all the mail. All the mail. But that's a really good little yeah, this is an expensive one that completes a collection. This is an inexpensive one that looks lovely that will continue the little series. So very good. So yeah, I will get back to whatever I was doing, and check in with you when I've actually read some things. I'm gonna have a reread of this. This belongs to someone else. The Last Binding, book 2. What did they say about it? Knives Out meets The Binding, which I think I have a copy of. I think I've bought like 3 copies of, but people have said some things about it. So anyway, yeah, I will get back to you when I've read some more of I Hear the Sun Spot. So it's been, I don't know, like a day or so, and I was just gonna read a bit of volume 3 of Limit, but then I started it and I was like, oh no, I just want to read the whole of Limit. I did think I could just start from the beginning and I could have just done that, but I kind of was like, start with this one, volume 1, and just reread the whole of Limit. Just do it. Just, you want it, just do it. So I did. And it was great to reread it, especially because I haven't read these. I actually haven't read these 3 volumes that often, just because it is over several years. So I was trying to think, like, how far back does I Hear the Sunspot go, in terms of when it was first published. But yeah, it's like, this was what, a year and a half or something after, or maybe 2 years of a difference. But this one is like every year, so I haven't had many opportunities to sit down and reread Just Limit, but it was good. I just needed to. When I started reading this one, I was just like, no, no, I think I want to go just read the whole of the series, or at least this one. And I'm really glad I did. So I ended up reading 4 volumes. So that's 5 for this video. So what am I on? 25? 25 of the 1330. And I know that I've got the one-shot thing happening. What's it? The one-shot readathon by Bizarre Individual and Mark from Mark Reads Manga. So I'll be doing that next, I think. I've got a lot of tidying up and stuff to do. I've got so much tidying up to do. Yeah, and I've been feeling a bit funny with what food I'm eating and stuff. So I've been kind of dozing and reading. But I do love this. I am a little bit sad that I can't get the Kinokuniya special edition as well. It's just sad when, we can't get these things when you don't live near places. They don't ship to the UK. So it's a shame. But I do love this. It's stunning. And I love that it's oriented differently. There's a little discussion at the back about why. And this definitely feels like it's a next chapter, and there's still so much more. So this one does feel like volume 1 of Limit. It feels like this is both the start of a new story and also just the first chapter kind of thing. So I don't know how many volumes we're going to get, but Yuki Fumino can just carry on, happily read all of I Hear the Sunspot. 4 seasons, so maybe there's 4 of them, I don't know. But in this one, there is a lot more of their kind of just development through life. So, and the introduction of a new character, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's difficult to not spoil it if you haven't read them. I mean, I do have my whole big vlog, so you can go watch that. I'll put a link. But yeah, Kohei's getting to that point in he's having to search for a job, and it was like, oh yeah, Taichi's been at this place now for 3 years. That's crazy. So yeah, it's kind of like, wow, time has passed. These guys have made a big effort, and there's been a lot of development in their lives. But in terms of the romance, this is probably the one where it's very clear that the emotional connection is there, and Kohei is very much the one pushing for a bit more physical connection, and Taichi's just very kind of, I wouldn't say uncomfortable, because he's very clear. He's like, I don't hate it, I'm just, I think he's very embarrassed and not quite sure. And for me, I'm like, oh, maybe there's a degree of asexuality there. I know. I start looking for it everywhere. In all characters. But it's not like it's never occurred to me before with this series that Taichi, he's not someone who necessarily looked for romance in the same way as everyone else. He's not someone who ever thought of it as a priority. Like, his priority was always getting money and food. It's like, I'm like, that's pretty asexual if your preoccupation is getting food in your belly. I am 100%. That is an asexual thing, when you're like completely obsessed with food and you love eating. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think maybe Taichi's a little bit asexual, maybe demisexual. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a very sexual creature, is what I'm saying. And for that, I think I've always found a little bit more like, yeah, I can see why there's a connection and a love for him there. For me anyway. I always like Taichi. I love all characters called Taichi. That's just how it is. If you like Chihayafuru, you have to. But this was a really nice one, and I just love the artwork. Yuki Fumino can do no wrong, and she can carry on. She, I'm guessing. But yeah, what am I going to read next? I don't know. For 1330, I'm pretty confident I'm going to get 30 done. I'm not too confident I'm going to get my buddy read finished. Woof. So yeah, like I said, I've already done 30 books or 30 manga. I just haven't necessarily read them all physically. A lot of them have been digital as well. So we'll see what I've got for the next. Okay, so I was in the middle of having my dinner and I was watching some stuff on YouTube and having a wee read, and I just thought I would pause all of that. I was also editing a video earlier today as well. Pause all of that, have some cheesecake with like Biscoff biscuit. I don't know what it's going to taste like, but it's probably going to taste delicious. Doesn't it look great? Bit of a close-up of some delicious food. Could I be a food blogger? No. And some peach tea. Although I am technically a food and book. I think I'm food and books together, really. When this parcel arrived, some guy just walked up to my house and posted it, but he didn't even knock on the door or anything. He was just like, here. And he didn't even put it all the way in. He just put it halfway in. Just walked away, and I was like, oh, okay. So I am a little confused because this, as you can see, is an Amazon parcel, and I have not ordered anything from Amazon. I've ordered from everywhere else. Like, this no buy month is going terribly. It's so bad. Yeah, I've ordered from other places, but I don't think I've ordered from Amazon. Like, I had something in my cart, but then just as I was thinking, yeah, go for it. You've already broken your no buy month, just may as well get it. They put the price back up by like £2.50 or something, so I was just like, nah, it's a sign, just don't. So I don't know what this is. I don't know. I've like Book Depository. I think I've got all my Book Depository stuff now. eBay stuff. I've definitely bought stuff from eBay. But I don't know what this is. So let's find out together. I'll set you up on the tripod so it's easier and I don't have to hold the camera too. Okay, let's get you set up so I can actually see. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Right. Great, there's a dot. I have no idea. I have no idea what this is. And it's not terribly well packaged. Oh, this isn't going terribly well, is it? The usual. There we go. Let's see. Oh. Yes. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. That's odd. That's suspicious. That's weird. Hold on. Okay, so the Song of Yoru and Asa. Oh, nice. The artist with a bird on his shoulder, a drink in one hand, and drawing comics with the other. Is Harada male? Is Harada male? That's something to look into. I think I should look into that more. Like, what do we know about some of these BL mangaka? So yeah, this is a Kuma publication. Because you get lovely art and things under the cover. You get an actual dust jacket, which is lovely. Sometimes obies and things. Translation team, publishing information. So first published in 2015 and then 2021 for Kuma. And I bought this on eBay. And then I also got volume 9. So this is near the end of this story. Descending Stories, volume 9. Oh god, it's so good. If you haven't watched the anime of this, go and watch it. I really want to collect all of the volumes and read them because, oh my god, it's one of the best stories. So good. So good. So I'm slowly collecting them with, I think you can read some of it on KU, and I think you can read up to volume 8. Like at the end of volume 8. And I think volume 9 and 10 you'll have to purchase. So I have the physical now, so I can at least read up to the end of volume 9. I almost got these as and when they were getting published a long time ago for cheap. I almost like bought all of them, and I was like, oh no. And then of course non-buyer's remorse is always. So that's weird. That's suspicious. I bought these on eBay. I was expecting an eBay package from hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, so we buy books. We buy books. Are they part of Amazon? I mean, you gotta know these things. Like, Book Depository is technically an Amazon thing now. But do they have an Abe Books as well? Abe Books? Abe Books? I want to say Abe because I'm, the whole living in Japan for such a long time. They are obviously owned now by Amazon. It just takes over the world. Can you even buy? I mean, they shouldn't be posting things in Amazon packaging if they're a second-hand seller on eBay, right? I don't know. Anyway, I'm very happy about this because now I can read The Song of Yorunasa and Encore, which is the second volume. So I can actually read that whole series. I cannot read volume 9 without reading all the KU stuff. So that's going to be a bit of a job. So I might just put that in that I don't need to read this now, although I really, really want to. But I do want to read them physically. It's that whole thing about Shogen Rakugo Shinju is just, so good. The anime is fabulous. If you have not watched the anime, highly recommend as one of the best. I don't even know what this is classed as. Is it shonen? No, not shonen. Is it seinen? Or josei? Oh god, Yakumo. Fucking sexy man. I love an old man. But this one, oof. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one because it's Harada. And is Harada a man? It says the artist with a bird on his shoulder. Do we know? I need to do a little bit of research on it. That's something to look into. Very happy about this. I am going to now, I suppose, have some cake and put my recycling cardboard away. Peach tea as well. Yay! And add these to my pile for my haul video. Oh dear. Yeah, the no buy month is not going well. Not going well at all, shall we say. But yeah, these are great. Very happy about this. Right, I'll check in with you in a wee bit. So I have finished Honey Darling by Norikazu Akira. This was lovely. I'm really glad that I did a reread of this. It's just a cute one. And yeah, it's June 2012. So the first one printed by Sublime. So I don't think they do them anymore. So yeah, make sure you get a copy if you can. Because it's cute. It does make me want to read more Norikazu Akira. It's about someone who kind of is aimless, doesn't really know what they're doing, finds a cat abandoned, takes it in, then it gets sick, and then he needs to find a vet, and the vet decides to take them both in. There's lots of jokes about him being his wife, but basically he employs him as a housekeeper come assistant for the veterinary clinic and lets him move in with his pet. So he's able to continue if he does housework and if he helps out. So there's lots of domesticity, which I love. I love. And it's very slow burn. They do have this moment when they're both like, I'm not gay, neither am I. But they end up together, so it's like, okay, well, you're obviously a little bit. It's called bisexual. There's a lot of cat shenanigans. and I'm here for it. So it's mainly a lot of cat jokes, some wife jokes, and a lot of just cooking food and cleaning things. It's a nice time. It's very soft. So yeah, Honey Darling. I like it as well because the way the characters are portrayed it's a particular kind of aesthetic, and I kind of enjoy it. The way that they're very he's very manly. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, this was a good one. Glad I read this one. Moving on to my next one, which I think will probably be my reread. I might do my reread of Angel of Ilhamberg, or I might do a new one. That's probably a good idea. Anyway, I don't even remember which read this is. I'll move on to that one. So I just got back from the shops. I was away to get some coffee. Hopefully this stuff is okay. They had a different kind, which is supposed to be stronger. They don't sell the same kind anymore. I'm like, no, why does this always happen? When you're like, that's what I buy it all the time, and I buy it, when it lasts X amount of time, and now I'm going to have to try this new coffee and see if it tastes nice. I still have some of those wee donuts left, and I got some, cookies, triple chocolate. So that's going to be good. So yeah, I got some Moss Killer and coffee. That's pretty much what I went for. I did get a lot of other things. I also went into the charity shop and I found this, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. And I've seen this cover quite a few times, but for £1, it sounded quite interesting. So give it a go. The other thing I found was Battle Royale. I have seen this quite a few times. I have seen it even in second-hand shops, but not for £1. So I think that's pretty good. And I know it is actually the text rather than a manga or anything. I do actually own some of the manga volumes, but they're in my other collection, probably. And someone's, I think, receipt was still in it. When I was opening it up, I was like, all right, okay. So I found someone's receipt somewhere. There it is. Waterstones, £10 and 4. Is that how much it was? And a bag. I know you it's just my kind of habit. Anyway, they got to page 25 and gave up. I love finding things like that. That's what someone's just used as their bookmark. Because as you do, I use a book as another bookmark. I use anything. But I do have loads of bookmarks as well. Anyway, this is what I got for £1. I have seen it, like I said, in other second-hand stores, but it was a lot more expensive. By a lot, I don't mean massively, but still pretty good condition and a big chunky book. So it should have been $9.99. So I do think that's quite a good buy. My little charity haul for today. So even when I'm just popping out to get coffee and some weed killer, I still managed to buy books, even though I was supposed to be on a no-buy month. And of course, these two things just arrived. So when I got home, they were on the floor, having just been delivered. And I'm not opening them. I'm not going to open them today. Not doing it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it today. I'm reorganising some stuff and doing some tidying up and that kind of thing. So I don't want to add to my stress by opening these and having to find somewhere to put them. Even though I've got a place. I have a little alcove in my living room wall. And that seems to be where I put my books. So when it gets halfway up the wall, I'm like, in the wee alcove, I'm like, oh no, you're buying too much. Anyway, yeah, definitely gonna have to do a haul video. Anyway, I'm gonna have some of these and try this coffee and see if it's actually any good or if it tastes the same. I'll let you know. So I have made some wings. I got a 4-pack of different flavours. Marinated wings. I don't really like wings so much because there's not enough meat on them. But anyway, there's 4 different flavors. What was it? Barbecue, sweet chili, Chinese, and tikka. And they all looked pretty much the same. So I don't know which one this is. So I'm gonna have to try it. And of course I've got my wee chopsticks, so I don't actually have to use my fingers. Although I probably will use my fingers. Anyway, before we find out what flavour are my wings today, I did read Glass Syndrome last night. And I really enjoyed it. Bazaar said it was a little bit weird but good, and I 100% endorse that review. It was a little bit weird but good. I liked the art style. It has a sort of reminiscent feeling towards other artists, but I can't really think who. And I don't know if I've read any Eiko Ariki's work before. It's a similar story in some respects, you know, someone who's going through a hard time, and well, they both have issues. 2 teenage boys, both have issues. One kind of like it's much more, what's the word, more constructive issues, i.e. there's a problem with the fact that he is on his own. His father has abandoned him, and he's having to get money and stuff like that. And the other one, it's more of a social issue, a more personal issue. It's one of his like personality, and he's having to work on that because he's kind of like a people pleaser. He just does everything that other people want him to do instead of actually being honest with himself. So the two of them end up meeting. And then there's another like story. I didn't really like that one. I'm just gonna be honest. I thought it was a bit boring, and also I didn't feel any emotional connection to it. But I liked the little extras at the end. That was good. But it was a quick read, so I can understand why I've got it. I've got it on digital as well. But yeah, it was all right for £5. That's okay, and it can go in my collection. Oh, the sun's come out! Yay! We had so much snow here yesterday. Oh my god, yesterday, even this morning as well. The weather last week, amazing, gorgeous sunshine, amazing hot weather, like 19, 20 degrees up here where I am in the wilds of Scotland. And then this week and yesterday especially, it was just snow and wind and rain and sun and wind and snow and hail and everything. Every 5-10 minutes it was a different season. Anyway, I'm going to read The Angel of Elhamburg next because it's Aki and it's beautiful. And I don't think I've got a place I can... So that's the thing, I can't read outside if the weather's terrible, and I can't really read in a place I haven't read before because I have literally read in every room in this house. And I'd have to go somewhere to read. And I don't know where I'd go. Go read in the woods, maybe? That's 2 places at once, right? I'm not taking this gorgeous book with me. So, yeah. And I'm afraid it will rain again. Anyway, I will reread this in the comfort of my home. Look at the detail on the eye and the earring. It's just so stunning. So stunning. Look at this. I mean, I do wish she would get the rest of her Arrosamente done. I hate that that's a mystery and I have no idea even what the mystery is. And it's like, she's done what? 7 or 8 volumes. Oh, Aki. She's such a tease. Anyway, this is what I'm going to read. Let's find out what the wings are. I'm just going to use my fingers. It's fine. It's fine. Let's have a taste. Oh, hot. I have no idea. Is that the Chinese one? I think it's the Chinese one. There you go. It's Chinese today. Or at least that's what I'm going to say. We'll see with tomorrow's wings. This is just going to be my lunch. So I'm gonna have for my lunch is a plate of wings. Yeah, I think it's Chinese. Anyway, moving on, and that's what I've done so far. Anyway, for the one shots, I also have my other pile for my 1330. Wow, April's just manga galore. So I've just finished reading, rereading again, The Angel of Elhamburg. For my breakfast, I've just been having a few of these wee flapjack bites. They're delicious. I went to the shops yesterday and got lots of goodies. More goodies. Oh my god, I love this so much. It's so... I think the first chapter, and I do think it's quite interesting. This is a 2015 publication. So good. And Aki says in her description at the end that it was just a one-shot little story, short story kind of thing, just a one-shot chapter, and then the editor was like, great, what happens next? She was like, oh well, it was just like a thing. And I do think that's the case. If we open it up from the, oh, isn't this gorgeous? It's just gorgeous. We've got the beautiful color image. Oh, and that'll be Prince Perseus looking gorge, and then these two, which I guess would be Lalvin and Prima, but the first chapter basically is like kind of introduces the story and the characters. There's Madeth, who is the king, who is beloved by spirits, fairies, sprites, that kind of thing. And Lalva, or Lalvin, who is his best friend, like knight, right-hand man, that kind of thing, childhood friend. So they've known each other for a long, long time, and is much more capable and competent and able than Madeth. And he can also see spirits, but he is not beloved of them. And he works really hard and he tries really hard. And he knows in himself that he is a better man, more competent, more intelligent, more witty, more able in every aspect than Madeth. And yet Madeth is the one that people and spirits flock to and just assume is like the leader, is the one who's in charge, and who he then becomes, you know, subservient to in a way. And he rails against that. So he has both superiority complex and an inferiority complex at the same time. He knows he's superior, and yet he is constantly feeling like he is being made to feel inferior, even though he knows he is not. And it's this vicious cycle of ego. And yet we don't get a lot of Madeth's feelings. We do a little bit of Madeth's feelings at the beginning of this first chapter, when it comes to how he views Lalvin. He calls him Lalva. That he knows this. He knows he is not as capable. He knows he's not, and he wonders why. The two of them have just conquered the castle, and the castle has within it a spirit that Lalvin describes as an angel, but is a guardian spirit of the castle. And in Japanese mythology, that'd be a bit like Zashiki Warashi. The purpose of a Zashiki Warashi is to bless the house, bless the building, and bless the people and the family that's in the building. Because as long as the family is there, as long as the family is maintaining the building, maintaining themselves and happy and healthy and all of that, then the building endures, and therefore the spirit endures. And that's kind of the same thing as what's going on here. It just so happens that the angel is, you know, the spirit has the appearance of what Lalvin describes as an angel. Lots of feathers, wings,
and an ethereal beauty. No gender, genderless. We don't know. But also kisses Marath when he comes, and when this situation occurs, Lalvin describes the spirit as an angel, but Marath describes this building tension between the two of them, this building inequality between the two characters, the friendship, and he is almost more aware of the fact that this spirit might not actually be an angel, but might actually be a devil in disguise, an evil spirit who waits for an opening to wreak destruction. But it's actually a wreak destruction. But the angel or the spirit is just, according to Aki, just was like, oh, there's two guys coming, and one of the guys, the one who's more competent, the one who did a lot of the fighting, that managed to win the castle and the territory, and smelled of blood. So the angel just went down and kissed the first man to welcome the first man. That the kiss was not an angel's kiss or a devil's kiss. It was just what it was. This being was the spirit of the castle, hoping that the castle could endure and giving blessings to the people in the castle, whoever was going to be there. And so it's this whole thing, it's sad, and it's full of like a proper little character driven story, with the small story of the friendship between these two men, and but in a much more magnified setting of being the ruler and royalty and that kind of thing, and the consequences of it. So the story itself is very small, of jealousy and ego and inferiority and superiority and things like that. That all comes down to, you know, the little human drama, but it's magnified because it's part of a royal medieval fantasy setting. But what this story is really about is fate and destiny and free will, and it really reminds me of studying classical civilization in undergraduate when we were doing Oedipus, and how the danger of knowing or thinking you know what your destiny or what your fate is means that you're more likely to choose to run away from it, and in doing so you run towards it. It's that whole thing of, can you choose your own fate, and in doing so, is that your actual fate? It's like, ugh. It's one of those conflicts that I love, is in a universal story. That's the kind of thing that we've had since ancient, Athenian times, 800 BC. We've had these human dramas being described and created, and that's what I like about Aki's work. She can show the surface level of emotion and the depth of emotion that a character will be feeling concurrently at the same time, and both of those emotions can be opposite, in opposition. So you could be feeling something on a surface level, and in the depths of your soul you're feeling something else. She, I feel, is able to. Maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but I don't think so, because she puts so much effort into it, and it's just lovely. So yeah, 2015. So maybe a little bit more difficult to get hold of now. I'm still amazed at how in such fantastic condition this is. I probably keep it really well. Anyway, I'm gonna have some lunch because it is lunchtime now, and I might watch a couple of YouTube videos while I eat. But then I'm gonna read probably Dost Thou Know, or maybe New Beginnings? Maybe one of them. Anyway, so I'll check in with you when I've read some more. So I finished Kimi Shiruya, Dost Thou Know by Satoru Ishihara. This is one of the oldest one-shots I have in my collection that I had not read yet, ever.
even though it's been in my collection for a long time. It said it was originally published in Japanese in 2003, and then by Junior Manga 2005. Wow, so a long time ago. But when the author was talking in her like little thing at the end, her little end thing, she was going on about how she will put out a manga at least one every 4 years. So how many years was it? I wonder. About 3 years have passed since I wrote the first chapter. So probably around the year 2000? Maybe even 1999 is when she first started creating this. I gotta be honest, guys. I thought reading this, I was all ready to hate on it and say how, toxic it is and how old and how it's not good. And I gotta say, some of these late 90s or into the early 2000s works are actually bloomin' great. Heckin' great! I loved it. I thought it was great. It does have like reminiscent feelings of Kizuna because of the Kendo Association, because this is all a Kendo rivals. I mean, it's a sports manga. What's not to love? There's two sets of brothers. So these two guys, Tsurugi and Katsuomi, and they have two younger brothers, Masaomi and Saya, and all four of them do Kendo competitions, practice constantly. These two, the same age, the two younger brothers, the same age, and so there's that sort of rivalry. And they end up in Kendo dojos after school. So they have their school dojos and then they have their after school dojos. This is a whole thing. And they end up with Saya under Katsuomi and Masaomi under Tsurugi. It's all a thing, like try and keep the brothers separate, but also they do training camps together. It's a sports manga with rivalry and competitions and training camps and, heightened emotions. What's not to love? And nothing toxic at all. The moment that there was a kiss, but you didn't see it. This is very chaste. This is a very chaste story. There's an implied kiss, and then there's an actual kiss. And when the first actual kiss happens, it's all very like, oh, and there's like a no. He says that he's resentful of him there because he lost, and anyway, the whole thing is. But then you see this, and then it cuts to him saying that, and then it's like, Jung, and the kids were watching, so they know. So it's a whole thing of like simmering tensions, and the boys idolizing both their older brother, their older sibling, and the rival, and then also maybe having feelings for each other, but not. It's simmering tensions. It's great. I absolutely loved it. I didn't think I was going to. I was like, okay, I'm going to read this and be like, oh, this is terrible, and I'm going to come on and tell you how, awful it is. It's not toxic in any way. It's full of all of the great things about sports manga that I love, as well as having that sort of reminiscent feeling of Kizuna minus the toxicity, because oh my god, is Kizuna a bit toxic? Just a tad. I mean, there's no yakuza in this, so that's probably what it is. This is just pure school kendo, coming of age, rivalry. Great, absolutely loved it. Thought it was great, and such a pleasant surprise for something that was published such a long time ago. You could publish this now with maybe updated art style and that kind of thing, and it would be perfectly fine, exactly the same. People would love it. So yeah, this is great. This is a goodie. I'm putting this on the goodie shelf. I want to kind of go through all of these old yaoi manga June ones and be like, okay, which ones are actually good and which ones are incredibly forgettable, which ones are enjoyable, which ones are toxic, that kind of thing. I really like this one. So yeah, I'm gonna have something to eat for dinner, I think, because I've eaten all of my flapjacks. they're gone now. And then have another, maybe put something in the oven and then read another manga while I'm waiting for it to cook. That's probably a good idea. I don't know what I've got. Pasta? Pizza? Or wings as well. I've all got those wings. Anyway, I'm gonna read something else as well. Okay, so I put some pasta on. It's like a little like instant dinner. You stick it in the oven. So I've got to wait 40 minutes for it to cook. And I'm starting New Beginnings. I'm literally just a couple pages in. And this poor character has been groped on the train, and so he decked the guy, and I'm like 100% clapping for him. Yes, yes. And literally everyone was like, ha ha ha. I'm like, no, no. But in a sort of like, are we as the readers kind of going, guys, this isn't cool. Just because he's short and kind of cute, this isn't a reason to make fun of him. And the only person who seems to be like, oh, that's terrible for you, is this girl who he obviously has a crush on. But she's like, oh, yeah, that must have been an ordeal for you. And everyone else is just kind of, because he punched a guy and knocked his tooth out. I'm like, 100% yes. There is a reason for violence, and that is the reason. If someone's groping you, beat the crap out of them. I'm 100% in support of that. So yeah, Sakurada-kun, you get them. But then even his own family. But his mum does say, this is what she says, really, I was so shocked when the police gave me a call. I thought it was Chihiro who'd done the groping. So the police and the station master were giving him a lecture about excessive self-defense. And I'm like, no, that's what's wrong. This is what's wrong. It just gives me, it just winds me up. And I used to think, oh, this happens a lot in Japan, because it literally does happen a lot in Japan. Like, they're constantly having to say, hey, can everyone just remember that when we're on the train, not to be perverts? Can we just remember that? Try not to be a pervert. It's literally you're going around on like the circle line in Osaka, and they are just, and I'm like, wait a minute, did they say chikan? Hanzai desu? Chikan wa hanzai desu? And my friend's like, yeah, they're saying it's against the law to be a pervert. And I was like, yeah, they're saying that, aren't they? Am I listening? And yes. So they have to remind people in Japan to not be perverts on the train. And so I always think in my head, oh, it's a terrible thing, and it happened in Japan, and it happened, it's there. It's very much, we're aware of it. That's why they have women-only train cars. Anyway, there was a news article just yesterday or the day before, it was a couple of days maybe, and some poor woman who got on a train in Edinburgh, this is in Scotland where I live, and she went for a wee snooze. She got on a Polmont, which isn't that far away from Edinburgh. It's on the fast line. And she woke up as they were pulling into Edinburgh, and there was a man next to her, some 60, 70-year-old man, but naked, completely naked, next to her as she woke up. And there was other people in the car, and I was like, what on earth was going on? I have no idea, but it just reminded me of the fact that, I do have this opinion of Japan and its lax attitude towards sexual assault, but it happens everywhere. You never know. You never know. So yeah, I can't, even though my own experience is, yes, it's bad in Japan, it can be bad everywhere. But I feel sorry for him, because they're kind of emasculating him by their attitudes. So I'm not sure how I'm going to enjoy this. But I gotta say, this book, the quality of the paper, so nice. And still lovely and like creamy white. Nice. And it feels so tight as well. Like, I don't think anyone's ever read this.
So I don't know how I'm going to enjoy this, but it is Kotetsu Yamamoto, so I'm probably going to. I do love her, but this is one of her older ones, so we'll see. We'll see. So far, I feel sorry for him. Anyway, I've got 40 minutes before my pasta, so we'll see how this is. So I've now finished New Beginnings by Yamamoto Kotetsuko. This was kind of progressive. It's also chock-a-block full of tropes. So this is what did I say? 2005 in Japan. So it does have some progressive elements, which I really liked. But the big trope is the two childhood friends. One's the cute crybaby, the other's the taller, athletic hero of justice type. They get separated as children and then they get reunited when they're a little bit older or teenagers. And the crybaby is now tall, handsome, good looking, and is beloved by all of the girls in class. And the hero of justice didn't grow very much and is now either a cutie pie like Chihiro or is not seen as cool, also like Chihiro. And so there's that. I mean, off the top of my head, I could probably think of 6 different titles that this trope belongs in, and it's one of those ones that it's a big staple of BL, but I think it's actually a staple of Kotetsuko Yamamoto herself. It must be one that she really enjoys, because just thinking about some of her unpublished works, because most of her works are unpublished in English, that's a trope that she just keeps on recycling and reusing. It's like a mainstay of her work is that trope. What I liked about this one is there's not too many. I would say it is quite progressive. So when Chihiro is talking about liking, when Keigo's talking about liking Chihiro, he says he still likes girls, but he likes Chihiro, and he likes him because he's him, not because of what gender he is, which is really nice and progressive at that point. So it could be bisexual, could be pansexual, but it's never explicitly said, because at this point in time, that's not the kind of language that's used, but it's implied by what he says. And then there's also a character that Chihiro fancied, the girl, and then there's a whole storyline with her, and it turns out that she's actually got a crush on her straight female friend, and she ends up befriending Keigo because they both have, similar situations, and they become friends and chat and stuff like that. So that kind of becomes the storyline in there. And it was just kind of a rarity. I remember someone did, maybe they even did like the whole PhD study on it, female representation within BL manga. And it was like the different tropes of female characters. And this was a particular kind of character that we don't see very often, which is actually another queer character who's female, which is nice. We don't have that, which is I enjoyed that. There was a few other issues, and it got really, really emotional. Oh, this scene was emotional. So a girl kind of confessed to Chihiro, and he decides to sort of set up a group date, 4 and 4, which of course his friends are thrilled about. But he just assumes that he's going to bring Keigo along, and Keigo's like, no, I'm not coming on a group date with you. I'm not going to watch you date a girl in front of me. I told you I'm in love with you. And it just is such an emotional scene. And you just think he's breaking his heart. And it's at this point you're like, oh, he's gonna, sexually assault him, because that's what the trope would. That's the moment we've seen 1,000,001 times in so many different BL manga, and he doesn't. He just cries, and the tears fall on his face instead. He doesn't force a kiss on him. He doesn't do anything, and honestly, he cries, and he asks him to leave, and then he says,
as he's going, oh, I'm sorry, I scared you, I shouldn't have done that. And it's like so progressive. It's just those little moments where you're like, oh, this is what would normally happen. And Yamamoto Tetsuko doesn't do it. She just makes just a subtle change, which takes away all the toxicity of what would have been the norm. Yeah. So yeah, it's a cute and sweet one. It's actually really lovely, of burgeoning feelings and a growing awareness. Because right at the beginning, Chihiro's, like I said, he was getting sexually assaulted on the train. And everyone's just like, wah ha ha, which is not great. But then everything else is just really nice about it. I have no idea what I'm going to read next. No idea. You'll see, because I'll have read it. So I got up this morning and I was like, okay, let's just check how many you've actually done so far. And I had these up the stairs, so I didn't actually know. So I had to like try and think about it. So I've got My Love Mix Up, and then the 4 volumes of I Hear the Sunspot with the new one, and then I've got my one-shots reads with Honey Darling, and so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've already done 10, which means added to my other 2, I've already done 30 in 30. Woo! So I've completed my 1330 challenge, even though I already knew I had, but in terms of physical reads, I wanted to get 30. I also have read a couple of other ones that I haven't talked about for my buddy read as well, which I need to get finished. And there's fewer days left in this month, and I need to get that finished. I also have, though, this little pile of one-shots that I haven't got around to reading yet. Now, this is the one that I definitely want to read until I meet my husband, because I started it a couple of times and I just haven't actually sat down and read it. And it won't take me long. So I really do want to read this one. A few of these I do also want to read, but in terms of the one-shot prompts or challenges, I needed to read my newest one-shot, so that was Glass Syndrome, and I needed to read my oldest one-shot, which I went with like my oldest unread one-shot, which would have been Dost Thou Know. My oldest Sublime one-shot is one of the oldest Sublime titles in print, Honey Darling, and the oldest one that I have purchased, which would be a reread, because I have technically read this hot steamy glasses, which probably won't take me very long if I do it as well. So these are ones that I don't know if I'll read, but I might not include in this video anyway. But I do think I should finish off with just an extra, a 31. So I will read this one, and then I think I'll just finish this video here, because it's probably quite long. I don't know how long it is. It's probably quite long. And that'll be the end of my 30 and 30 challenge with a 31, just as a little extra. Although I have also, you know, I've read more than 30 this month. I don't know how many I've read. I'd actually have to total it up. But in terms of the challenges for the one shot, I did my reread of The Angel of Elhamburg, and the other 2 challenges are read in a new place where you haven't read before, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. And the other is read outside. And unfortunately, the weather has taken a turn for the worse, and it is peeing it down. Someone's just walking past the house with a massive overcoat on, looking very wet. And so it's going to be like that for the rest of the week, for the rest of the challenge. I don't think that's it. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do the other 2 challenges. I've read in every room in my house. But I will read this one, and that'll be, I think, the end. So I will update you when I finish this. I really, really want to read this. I want to take my time and enjoy it. But I also have my buddy read with Katie to complete. And at the moment, I'm a bit concerned about that. If you see the video, then maybe in a week's time, if the video goes up, woohoo! If not, I'll be like crying about it. But I'm hungry. I'm gonna have pizza, so I'm gonna make some pizza and maybe watch something. I think there's some videos up. Did Meg with Books, and also Kayla, I think, has a video up, and Ashley, I think, has a video up, and I already watched Izzy's. I'm all up to date, which is probably why I'm behind on my buddy read. So, but I'm gonna have something, pizza, and then we will read this, and that will be the finish of the 1330. So this is my pizza, although it's not like a proper pizza, it's like a tomato-free one. So it's a garlic bread base that I got from Morrison's. You can just get like a garlic bread with cheese on a pizza base kind of thing. So it's like covered in garlic, herb, butter, and then cheese. And I had it in the freezer, so I took it out yesterday and defrosted it. And then just put like loads of veg on it. So I got onion, peppers, mushrooms, and sweet corn. Just whatever I had. It's kind of like a leftover day. I did have like meat and chicken and some green stuff, and I could have put that on, but I was like, no. And then I just sprinkled some peri peri hot sauce on. So hopefully this will be good. I probably just have half. So I'm actually really hungry. I've had not very much to eat today, so yeah. This looks so good. I'm gonna tuck in. So I have now finished Until I Meet My Husband, the manga by Ryosuke Nanasaki and Yoshi Tsukitsuki. I've actually read this, and then I read some Yoshi Tsukitsuki that's available on Futekia, and their other work is available on Renta. So if you want to, you can go check out some of the BL manga that they have produced. I cried inevitably. It is an autobiography based on the book, which is a series of essays about points in time in Nanasaki Ryosuke's life, different things that happened, and so inevitably it does contain some things like internalized homophobia, as well as external, societal, familial. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to read at times. There are certainly points in his life where you think, okay, someone just help this boy. And it does end on a really positive and happy note, and yet at the same time there's still so much work to do for the LGBT community in Japan, but elsewhere as well. We just have to do better. It also really just made me so mad about the whole, like, the way that so many Japanese people view homosexuality. Well, not just Japanese people, but specifically Japanese people in this instance. Is so much of it is built into colonialism from when the American black sailed ships came in and forced the opening of Japan back in the 1860s. So yeah, it's that really annoying really annoying mix of colonialism and extreme religious zealism. Is that a word? That then causes homophobia in a country that didn't necessarily have it. They were a little bit more open to sexuality and gender in Japanese culture and traditions before the introduction of a lot of Western and Christian ideals, which were very much centered on white supremacy and misogyny and homophobia, and about controlling populations and controlling ideas and controlling society and extra. It's just that whole thing about, aren't white people awful? and that's a hang up, because there are still so much, I mean, even now there's so much support within the general population, massive support in the general population, especially in the younger generations, but also in the older generations. So much in the older generations, especially the ones who are still alive, who had lived through the war. That's the thing. There's like a small section of the population that seem to be the ruling class, but they're not the oldest in society, and they're not the youngest in society. There's just a portion of society, and they're very much like, let's rewrite history to forgive, you know, war criminals, and let's make everything a lot more conservative. And yeah, if you ask like 80-year-olds, should two men be allowed to marry? They'd be like, yeah, of course. Why not? That they're in love. It's a really odd thing when, you know, conservatives, usually religious conservatives, will say things like, oh no, you know, homosexuals, they're awful, and they'll make a lot of negative comments and liken them to sexual deviance. And yet when two gay men are like, hey, we'd really like to be committed and in love and in a relationship that's called marriage, and, you know, maybe start a family and, you know, be just like everyone else, it's like, no, you can't have that. Because we've already apportioned you that little box. We've put you in that box, and you need to live in that box, because that, by existing in that box, you help prop up all of these other negative things in society. We need you to be there, in the same way that all of the nonsense about trans people in the media now, especially in the UK at the moment, you know, it's absolute BS, and it's there to help prop up the incredibly right-wing government and media. And it sounds like it definitely sounded like, you know, all of these conspiracy theorist type comments maybe 5-6 years ago, and now it's like 100% that is exactly what's been going on. And it's been going on for about, well, for the longest time. But yeah, this was, in terms of the actual story of one man's life and his journey of self-acceptance, and also his journey to be accepted by society in some way. It's still happening, so he's still on his journey. So I would think it would be really interesting to read like part 2, and how, you know, since he met his husband, or since he married his husband. That would be an interesting one as well. But definitely cried my eyes out. It's wonderful, and it's depressing, and it's uplifting all at the same time. And that's the thing about autobiographical manga. It can be really thought-provoking. So I don't think I'm going to read anything else today. I think I just need to sit with this. And it is very rainy. So I guess I don't know if I will read the rest of these. We'll see, because I have to finish my buddy read. But this is definitely me finishing my 1330. I've had to put the filter on because it's so dark here because of the rain. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Boom! Yes! So I definitely have read my 1330. So yeah, thanks to Shay and Izzy and Ashley and Bree for hosting. I've been half on and half off social media, so people have seen some of the things I've read and not all of the things I've read. But I have the other 2 parts up. I will put links in the video in the description, so you can go and watch those first 2 parts. But I have read other things as well, so they might be in videos coming, or I might just not edit those. I've had quite a weird April. It's definitely been a weird April. So yeah, this is all of my 1330s. I hope you enjoyed them. Thanks for all of the hosts for hosting, and also obviously for Bizarre Individual and Marg Reads Manga for the one-shot readathon as well. It was good to get some of my one-shots read. So yeah, I don't know which one I liked the most. Oof, this is a hard one. I certainly enjoyed my new titles, My Love Mix-Up, I Hear the Sunspot, 4 Seasons, Volume 1. Glass to Know was interesting. Dost Thou Know was such an interesting title, considering it's so old. It was just a sports manga, and I loved it. And Until I Meet My Husband was just heartbreaking. So yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed taking part. I'm really glad. I'm gonna have to put all these into my Goodreads now. So yeah, thanks for watching to the end of this video. I have no idea how long it is. It's probably quite long. So sorry. But I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear what you think about any of these titles. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.